BRM is a British team, so we've obviously had much success in the past with many British drivers, but we've never won the British Grand Prix. The best result for BRM at the British Grand Prix is a second place achieved by Graham Hill at the 1964 British Grand Prix at Brands Hatch, and at the 1965 British Grand Prix at Silverstone. A total of 31 drivers have driven for BRM, so we obviously can't go through all of them, but we'll describe 5 for the most interesting and important ones. Reg Parnell was born on July 2nd, 1911 in Derby, England. His first race for BRM was at the 1951 British Grand Prix at Silverstone, which also happened to be BRM's first race in Formula 1. He finished 5th, scoring points for BRM in our first race. This was his first and only race for BRM, so he could never top that result for us. However, his best result had already came when he finished 3rd at the 1950 British Grand Prix for Alfa Romeo. He retired from racing in 1957 to start his own team, Reg Parnell Racing. Sadly, Reg died of peritonitis on January 7, 1964 in Derby, England. His son Tim was the manager of BRM from 1970 to 1974. Graham Hill was born on February 15, 1929 in London, England. His first race for BRM was at the 1960 Argentine Grand Prix at Buenos Aires. He ended up retiring on lap 37 due to overheating. In 1962, however, he won his first race for BRM at the 1962 Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort. He went on to win 3 more races that year in Germany, Italy and South Africa. Not only did he take the 1962 Drivers' Championship, but along with his teammate Richie Ginther, they helped BRM win their first and only Constructors' Championship. He left BRM in 1966 after winning a total of 10 times. In 1968, he went on to win another Drivers' Championship with Lotus. He became the first ever driver to do the motorsport's Triple Crown of winning the Monaco Grand Prix, the Indianapolis 500 and the 24 Hours of Le Mans. He won the Monaco Grand Prix a whopping 5 times. He won the 1966 Indianapolis 500 and he won the 1972 24 Hours of Le Mans. His last attempt in Formula 1 was when he failed to qualify for the 1975 Monaco Grand Prix for his own team, Hill F1. Sadly, Graham was killed in a plane crash in Herefordshire, England. His son Damon went to become a Formula 1 World Champion as well, making the Hill family the first in history to have 2 Formula 1 World Champions. Jackie Stewart was born on June 11, 1939 in Milton, Scotland. His first race for BRM was also his first race in Formula 1 at the 1965 South African Grand Prix in East London. He finished 6th, scoring 1 point in his first ever race. His first win at Formula 1 was with BRM at the 1965 Italian Grand Prix, where he had led a BRM 1-2 with his teammate Graham Hill, finishing 2nd. He won again in the 1966 Monaco Grand Prix, a race where 3 of the 4 finishers were BRM. He went on to win 3 Drivers' Championships with Matra and Tyrrell before retiring after his final championship in 1973. He was a well-known advocate in safety in Formula 1. He campaigned with his team boss of BRM, Louis Stanley, for improved emergency services and better safety barriers. He takes a spanner to the steering shaft of his BRM in case it was ever needed after a crash. Jackie and his son Paul started the somewhat successful Stewart Grand Prix Formula 1 team, which ran from 1997 to 1999, scoring 5 podiums and 1 win. The team eventually evolved to what is now the Red Bull F1 team. Peter Gethin was born on February 21, 1940 in Ewell, England. His first race for BRM was at the 1971 Austrian Grand Prix, where he finished 10th. 1 race after that, at the 1971 Italian Grand Prix, he took his first and only victory in Formula 1, famously winning by 1/100th of a second over Ronnie Peterson. It was the closest finish in Formula 1 history. He only scored points 1 more time in Formula 1 at the 1972 Italian Grand Prix. He retired from racing in 1977. Sadly, after a long illness, Peter died on December 5, 2011 in Holt Henley, Surrey, England. Stirling Moss was born on September 17, 1929 in London, England. His first race for BRM was at the 1959 French Grand Prix at Reims, where he drove a non-works BRM. He ended up getting the fastest lap but was disqualified after receiving a push start. His only other race for BRM was at the 1959 British Grand Prix at Aintree, where he once again drove a non-works BRM. He finished 2nd in his final race in a BRM. He retired from racing after his last Formula 1 season in 1962. He made a few one-off racing performances in Australian Racing Series and drove for 2 full seasons in the British Saloon Car Championship in 1980 and 1981. After driving in historical races until 2011, he finally officially retired from all racing at the age of 81. He is the narrator of British animated children's show Rory the Racing Car. Sterling still shows up in historical events and Formula 1 races, despite being retired. Check r/Model F1 next Thursday for a BRM history lesson relating to the German Grand Prix.